Harry's wife, like the Kardashians, except boring. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor, continuing to utilise a variety of sources to educate you about narcissism. Given the widespread manure-like coverage of the Netflix docuseries, it is only accurate that a variety of observations about its worth and impact are obtained, analysed, and seen as how they would be regarded by Harry's wife. And to that end, we turn to an article by Daniel Bates in I, with the headline, "Like the Kardashians, except boring. US media unimpressed by part 2 of Harry and Harry's wife's Netflix documentary." The second instalment of Prince Harry and Harry's wife's documentary exploded like a bomb in the United States. Every major broadcaster and national paper carried stories about the second part of their $100 million Netflix series, giving it far more prominence than the first 3 episodes. Some newspapers, including the New York Post, even ran live blogs and multiple stories. Such was the interest. Most of the reports focused on Harry's claim that he got into a screaming match with his brother, Prince William, and his father, King Charles, over his plans to leave the royal family. If that's an accurate recollection, of course, that's his narcissistic trait of anger and the narcissistic trait of argumentativeness coming to the surface. It's quite ridiculous as well for him to then bang on about it afterwards as going, "Ooh, they screamed at me. Papa screamed at me, and my bro did as well. It's absolutely horrible to be treated that way." You were in Afghanistan, matey boy. You're a soldier. You've dealt with far worse even from your bunker. And therefore to bleat on about the screaming match now is, of course, indicative of the influence of your wife, whereby, with her hand wedged firmly even up your derriere, she continues to puppet you, turning you into a simp and a mincing version of your once exuberant self. That you have become infected with her victim mentality because you're fed it so often, and also you reside within that shared fantasy with her. The article continues. Harry's wife's claim that she had a miscarriage under the strain of the negative media coverage in the UK featured prominently as well. Pity play. The tone seemed to be one of surprise at the depths of Harry and Harry's wife's fury, with even the Associated Press, which prides itself on being unbiased, saying they vent grievances in the final episodes. Well, of course they do so, because for an outfit that was only in the royal family for some 18 months, they've now spent 3 years whinging about it. It really is a whinumentary. In its coverage, CNN reported how Harry detailed the breakdown of their relationship with the British royal family. Reporter Anna Stewart said that after watching all 6 hours of the show, you're left feeling incredibly sad as you've watched a family disintegrate. Well, of course, that is one of the collateral consequences of along comes the spider that is the narcissist. You've watched it happening live, and by virtue of that series, continue. At the end of the report, the network's host Poppy Harlow quipped, "I have a heck of a lot to watch on vacation next week." The New York Times said that the strained family ties take centre stage in the final 3 episodes. The report noted that with the TV show, the couple's war with the media reaches a fever pitch. The New York Post ran a live blog with major revelations and 5 stories, including about how Harry claimed William broke their pact about negative press. A separate story was about the couple's friend, Tyler Perry, the director and actor, about how they were abused by the royal family. Yes. Abused by having a £32 million wedding paid for. Abused by being welcomed and given a staff of 14 to integrate into the royal family. Abused by given a property to live in and then having it refurbished. Abused by having security detail. Abused by spending nearly £1 million on clothing in the first year. My goodness me, if that's what you think abuse is, imagine how she would deal if she met me. Newsweek ran 5 stories on the show, while the Daily Beast said that Harry had gone on the offensive about his brother. Variety called the episodes explosive and that the most damning claim was that William bullied Harry out of the royal family. People magazine, which has been sympathetic to the couple in the past, ran 3 stories about the series that put it as numbers 1, 2 and 3 in its Don't Miss section on its website. Some of the early commentary was highly negative, including that from Fox News' Lee Cohen, who claimed that Harry and Harry's wife were hell-bent on destroying the monarchy. He said that they risked becoming the most hated royal couple and suffering a worse fate than Edward VIII, Duke of Windsor, who abdicated from the throne to marry an American, Wallis Simpson. Cohen wrote, if the Sussexes were even slightly reasonable, they would benefit from the example of the vapid, sad life to which the Windsors were reduced. But while the Windsors ended life as a somewhat tragic old couple, the Sussexes, with their narcissism, tone deafness and provocation of a monarchy beloved in Britain and respected around the world, risk a legacy of even greater hostility. In its otherwise unemotional report, the Washington Post noted how divisive the couple were, with polls in the UK showing that 14% of people had a more negative view after the first 3 hours of the show. It noted that in the United Kingdom, some admire Harry and Harry's wife and appreciate their struggle, but many find them happy to exploit their remaining titles. With little to sell, but privileged grievance. A uniquely American perspective was offered by shock jock Howard Stern, who said in his Sirius XM show that they come off like such whiny bitches. He added, I gotta tell you, man, I just don't get it. Mr. Stern had sympathy for Harry's mother, Diana, and said the royal family had treated her like shit. But he added, but Jesus Christ, when those two, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, start whining about wah, 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 and they don't like me, and she, Harry's wife, wants to be beloved in this country, it's like the Kardashians, except boring. So another roundup there of the observations about this series, which are far from complimentary. Once again, this is all challenge fuel to Harry's wife, were she to read these reviews, and undoubtedly she would do, because the necessity of knowing is part of the necessity of asserting control. That's why she looks at the social media, that's why she looks at the reviews, both in terms of wanting to see that which is good that's written about her, and also of knowing who's lambasting her, so that she can then complain and say, see how they hate, see how they hate, see how they hate. Of course, the overall conclusion that it's like the Kardashians except boring is a real slap in the face for this docuseries. The Kardashians, of course, synonymous with trash television, but at least it's entertaining, something which, of course, the docuseries is not. It's hardly a surprise that the Duchess of Bland continues to be the Duchess of Beige. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.